Her stepmother thought marrying her to a homeless beggar on the street would destroy her life forever. But the real shame came when she discovered that the homeless beggar was swimming in wealth, and everyone called him Sir. Ella was a little girl with big brown eyes and a soft smile. She lived in a big house with her mother and father. Their house was not just big, it was beautiful. There were flowers in the garden, clean white walls, and a big black gate that opened when cars came. Birds sang in the trees. The sun always seemed to shine brighter there. It felt like a dream, but it was her real life. Please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click on the bell notification icon so you will be notified anytime I post a new story. Her father, Mr. Johnson, was a very rich man. He owned many businesses in the city. People respected him. When he walked into a room, everyone stood up and greeted him. But at home, he was not just a businessman. He was Daddy. He loved Ella more than anything. Every night, he carried her on his back and ran around the house while she laughed loudly. Her mother, Mrs. Johnson, was gentle and kind. She loved music. Sometimes she played the piano while Ella sat beside her, pressing random keys and giggling. Her mother would smile and say, "You are my little song." They would sing together, dance around the living room, and sometimes bake cookies that smelled like vanilla and love. Ella's bedroom looked like something from a fairy tale. She had pink curtains, a white bed with big soft pillows, and shelves full of dolls, storybooks, and toy animals. Every night, her mom or dad would sit by her bed and read her a story. Then, they would kiss her on both cheeks and whisper, "Good night, princess." Sundays were family days. They would all wear matching clothes and go to church. After that, they would eat ice cream, go to the park, or drive to the beach. Ella would hold both her parents' hands, one on each side, and swing between them while walking. People would look at them and smile. They looked like the perfect family because they were. Her father believed in teaching Ella everything. He showed her how to plant flowers in the garden. He taught her how to save money. Even rich people must learn to be wise, he always said. He wanted her to grow up smart, kind, and strong. Her mother taught her to pray and say thank you for every little thing. "A grateful heart brings more blessings," she would say with a warm smile. Sometimes at night, Ella would wake up from sleep and hear her parents laughing in the kitchen. She would sneak out quietly and find them drinking tea, talking about old memories. Her mother would see her and say, "Oh no, the little spy is awake." Then they would all sit together and talk like best friends. During school holidays, they traveled a lot. They went to Ghana, Dubai, and even Paris. Ella took pictures with the Eiffel Tower behind her. She ate new foods and rode camels in the desert. Her parents always held her hand, always kept her close, always made her feel safe. Everyone in the house loved Ella. The cook always gave her extra meat. The driver bought her snacks. The housemaids played with her after school. Her life was soft, bright, and full of joy. She never knew pain. She never knew what it meant to cry alone. Her world was warm, like sunshine on the skin. On her 7th birthday, her father threw her a big party. There were balloons, cakes, music, and even a magician. All her friends came. She wore a dress that sparkled like stars. Her parents stood beside her, clapping as she blew out the candles. "Make a wish," they said. She wished for nothing to ever change. But nothing lasts forever. One rainy night, her mother came to her room and hugged her tightly. Her face looked sad, but she smiled anyway. "I love you, Ella," she said quietly. "Don't ever forget that." Then she kissed her and left the room. That was the last time Ella saw her alive. Her mother died in her sleep. The doctor said it was her heart. No one expected it. One day she was dancing, laughing, cooking. The next day she was gone, just like that. Ella didn't understand. She kept asking, "Where is Mommy?" Her father hugged her and cried. It was the first time she saw him cry. "She's with God now," he said. "She's watching over us." The house changed after that. It was still big, still clean, but it felt cold, quiet, empty. Her father tried his best. He took her to school, helped with homework, and told bedtime stories. But something inside him was broken. The joy was gone. He stopped smiling. He stopped laughing at her jokes. Sometimes he sat alone for hours, just looking at the family photo on the wall. Ella missed her mother, but she also missed the father he used to be. The man who played hide and seek. The man who danced in the rain with her. That man was gone too. Then one day, a woman came to visit. Her name was Patricia. She wore long dresses and red lipstick. She smiled too much. She brought Ella sweets and new clothes. Her father seemed happier when she was around. Ella didn't like her. Something didn't feel right. Soon, Patricia was coming every day. Then, she moved in. Then, she married Ella's father. And everything changed again. After Ella's mother died, her father was never the same. He tried to smile. He tried to act strong for Ella. But deep inside, he was broken. He missed his wife more than anything. At night, Ella could hear him crying in his room. She once walked in and saw him holding her mother's old scarf, pressing it to his face like it could bring her back. At first, he still went to work. He still helped Ella with homework. He still made sure the house was clean and her needs were met. But slowly, he began to change. He stopped going to meetings. He stayed in bed longer. His phone kept ringing, but he never answered. His face became tired, and his eyes lost their light. Patricia, the woman he had married after Ella's mother died, began to take control. She started speaking for him. She told the staff what to do. She chose what Ella wore to school. She even decided what they ate. "Your father needs rest," she said, smiling too much like always. "Let me take care of things." But Patricia didn't take care of things for love. She did it for power. She sold small things, first extra cars, furniture, old jewelry. She said they didn't need those things anymore. "We must be simple," she said, with her red lips and fake kindness. Ella felt something was wrong, but she was too young to understand the full picture. One day, her father collapsed in the hallway. Ella saw it happen. One moment he was walking toward her room with a gift in his hand. The next moment, he fell to the floor. His eyes rolled back. The box dropped and broke open. It was a necklace, a gold one, with a little E on it. She screamed. The staff ran in. Patricia called the driver, and they rushed him to the hospital. Ella sat in the back seat holding his hand. "Daddy, wake up," she cried. "Please don't leave me too." But he didn't open his eyes again. At the hospital, the doctor came out with a sad face. "I'm sorry," he said. "We lost him." Ella froze. Her whole body went cold. She felt like the floor was gone, like she was falling through a dark hole. Her father was gone, just like her mother. Now, she was alone. The funeral was big. Many people came. They wore black, cried, and said kind things, but none of it felt real to Ella. She stood beside his casket, holding Patricia's cold hand, wishing it was all just a bad dream. But it wasn't. After the burial, the real pain began. Patricia changed overnight. She stopped pretending to care. She walked around the house like a queen. She fired 2 of the maids. She sold her father's office building. She said it was too much to manage alone. "He left so many debts," she said, shaking her head. "We need to survive." Ella didn't understand. Her father was rich. He had companies, lands, and cars. How could there be no money? One day, Ella overheard a conversation between Patricia and a man in a suit. They were in the living room. "What about the girl?" the man asked. "She's still a child." "She's not my child," Patricia said coldly. "Everything is in my name now. She will get nothing." "But what about the will?" Patricia laughed. "There is no will. I made sure of that." Ella ran to her room, locked the door, and cried for hours. She was only 14, but she understood now. Patricia had taken everything. Her father was gone. Her mother was gone. And now, her life was being taken too. Soon, things got worse. Patricia sold Ella's bedroom furniture. "You don't need all these things," she said. "You're not a princess." Ella now slept on a small mattress on the floor. Her pink curtains were replaced with plain brown ones. Her dolls and storybooks disappeared. No one told her where they went. School became hard too. Patricia stopped paying for her private school. "You can go to public school like other children," she said. But even then, she often made Ella stay home. "There's no money for books," she would lie. Ella started cooking, cleaning, and doing all the chores. Patricia treated her like a maid. She yelled at her, slapped her, and blamed her for everything. "If your father hadn't spent so much on your sick mother, we wouldn't be poor," she once shouted. But Ella never talked back. She remembered what her mother taught her: to be calm, to be kind, and to pray. So she kept quiet. She cried in silence. She prayed every night for help, for a miracle. Soon, Patricia started bringing strange men into the house. Ella stayed far from them. She didn't like the way they looked at her. One of them even tried to touch her hair. She ran to her room and locked the door. Her heart beat fast. She knew she wasn't safe anymore. Then one night, Patricia came into her room with a strange smile. "You're 15 now," she said, "old enough to help this family." Ella looked up from the floor. "How? You're going to get married." Ella's eyes grew wide. "What?" "No. I don't even know." Patricia slapped her hard. "You don't get to say no. You eat my food. You live in my house. You will do as I say." Ella cried all night. Her father's house was no longer hers. The warmth, the love, the safety, it was all gone. She was just a prisoner now, a maid, a burden. And soon she would be something worse, a bride to a man she didn't even know. It started on a quiet evening. The sun was going down. The sky was orange and soft. Ella was sitting on the front steps of the house, resting after washing clothes all day. Her back hurt. Her hands were dry. She was tired, inside and out. Then she saw him. He was sitting by the big gate, just outside. His clothes were old. His shoes had holes. His hair was rough. He looked dirty, like someone who hadn't eaten in days. But his eyes were soft, kind. He looked at Ella and smiled a little. Ella looked around. No one else saw him. She picked up a small bag of bread that was left over from lunch. She walked toward him slowly. "Are you hungry?" she asked. He nodded. "Yes, thank you." She gave him the bread and sat on the floor near him. They didn't speak much that day. He ate slowly, like he hadn't tasted food in a long time. Ella just watched him. Something about him felt calm. "My name is Ella," she said. "I'm Joseph," he replied. "Thank you for the bread." That was the beginning. Every day after that, Ella would save a little food for Joseph. Rice, bread, even soup sometimes. She would wait until no one was looking, then walk out and give it to him. They started talking more. Joseph told her he had no home. He used to work in a store, but it closed. His parents had died when he was young. He lived in the streets now, doing small jobs when he could. He slept near the market, under a bridge when it rained. Ella told him about her life too, about how her stepmother treated her, how she used to be rich, used to be happy. Joseph listened. He never laughed. He never judged. One day, he looked at her and said, "You're too kind for this kind of life." Ella smiled for the first time in a long time. "Maybe," she said, "but it's all I have now." Weeks passed. Joseph started waiting for her every evening. Sometimes he brought her small gifts, a flower, a pretty stone, even a ribbon he found on the road. Nothing expensive, but everything he gave her made her smile. He made her feel seen. One evening, rain started to fall. Ella rushed outside with an umbrella and saw Joseph sitting by the gate, soaked. She ran to him. "You'll get sick," she said. He laughed. "I'm used to it. Come inside, just for a little while. They're not home." Joseph followed her in. They sat in the kitchen. She made him tea. They talked for hours. They laughed. Ella forgot her pain for a while. Joseph looked at her like she was special. That night became the first of many. Sometimes he stayed a little longer. Sometimes they held hands. One night he gently touched her face and said, "You deserve more. You deserve love." Ella's heart beat fast. No one had said that to her in years, not since her mother died. They hugged. Then one night, when Patricia was gone for the weekend, Ella let him stay in the guest room. It was cold outside. She didn't want him to sleep on the street. They talked late into the night. She felt safe with him. For the first time, in a long time, she felt loved. That night, Their hug became something more. They didn't plan it. It just happened. It was soft, careful, full of emotion. Ella didn't cry. She didn't feel scared. She felt warm. Joseph kept asking if she was okay. She said yes. The next morning, they sat in silence. Not awkward, just full of new feelings. "I'm sorry," Joseph said. "Don't be," Ella whispered. Weeks passed. Then, one day, Ella felt sick. She threw up after breakfast. Her body felt heavy. Her chest was sore. At first, she thought it was stress, but it didn't stop. She missed her period. She knew. She didn't tell Joseph right away. She was scared. She didn't even know what to think. But one night, she finally said it. "I think I'm pregnant." Joseph froze. "Are you sure?" She nodded. "Not fully, but I feel it." He didn't shout. He didn't run. He took her hand and said, "We'll figure it out. Together." Ella cried. Not because she was sad, but because someone had finally chosen to stay. But outside that small moment of peace, the world was waiting to tear it all apart. Ella tried to hide it at first. She wore big clothes. She moved slower. She stayed quiet. But the truth always finds a way out. One morning, Patricia walked into the kitchen and saw Ella standing by the sink. She looked at her from head to toe. Her eyes became small and sharp. She crossed her arms. "What's wrong with you?" Patricia asked. "You look like a balloon." Ella stayed quiet. "I said, what is wrong with you?" Ella looked down. Her voice was small. "I think I'm pregnant." The cup in Patricia's hand fell and broke into pieces. She stared at Ella like she had seen a ghost. "What did you just say?" Ella shook. Her knees felt weak. "I didn't mean for it to happen." Patricia walked forward and slapped her hard across the face. Ella fell to the floor. Her cheek burned. "You filthy girl. In my house, pregnant, like a dog from the street?" Tears filled Ella's eyes, but she said nothing. "Who did this to you? Which useless boy? You think this is a hotel for whores?" Ella whispered. "His name is Joseph. He lives on the street." Patricia laughed, but it was not a happy laugh. It was cold, bitter. "A homeless boy? A beggar? You slept with trash? You've brought shame to this house." She kicked over a chair. Plates fell. The noise filled the house. Ella just sat there, shaking, her hands on her stomach. From that day, everything changed. Patricia locked all the food in the house. "Pregnant or not, you will starve," she said. Ella had to beg the cook for scraps. Sometimes she ate only once a day. Sometimes not at all. She was not allowed to rest. "You want to be a mother?" Patricia said. "Then clean like one." Ella scrubbed floors, washed toilets, carried heavy buckets. Even when her back hurt, even when her feet swelled, no one helped. The worst part was the words. "Stupid girl. Just like your mother, weak and useless. No man will ever want a girl like you. You should have died with your parents." Every day, Ella cried in silence. At night, she whispered to the baby in her belly, "I'm sorry. Please hold on. I'll protect you." Joseph tried to visit, but Patricia told the guards never to let him in again. "If he comes near this house," she said, "call the police." Ella managed to sneak out once to meet him by the back gate. He hugged her. He cried. He promised he would find a way to fix everything. But she was still stuck in the house. Patricia took her phone. She told the neighbors lies. Ella ran wild. She got pregnant by a street boy. Can you believe it? People started looking at Ella with shame in their eyes. Even old friends crossed the road when they saw her. One day, Patricia made her stand in the living room while she called two women from church. "Look at her," Patricia said. "See what happens when girls don't have discipline. She's a lesson." The women nodded and whispered. Ella stood there, her face hot, her heart heavy. Patricia didn't stop there. She made Ella clean in front of guests. "Let them see what happens when little girls forget their place," she said. One morning, Patricia threw all of Ella's clothes out. "From now on, wear what I give you." She gave her old torn dresses, things no one would wear. Then came the worst day. Patricia slapped her again, harder than before, and said, "You will marry someone. Since you like useless men, I'll find you one to match. You're nothing but a pregnant orphan. Nobody wants you." Ella looked up, weak but brave. "I don't care who you choose. I'll still protect my baby." That night, she held her belly and cried. "I don't know what's coming," she whispered, "but I'll survive it. For you." That was the day something inside her changed. She was no longer the soft girl who cried in corners. She was a mother now, a fighter, a survivor. And Patricia had no idea what kind of fire she had just started. Patricia sat in the living room, sipping tea. Her face looked calm, but her heart was full of anger. She looked at Ella, who was sweeping the floor slowly, her belly showing now. Patricia shook her head. "You think you can disgrace me and walk free," she said. "No, you will pay." Ella looked up, her eyes tired. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "Sorry won't change anything," Patricia snapped. "You want to sleep with street boys? Good. Now I'll marry you to one." Ella stood still. "What do you mean?" "You'll see," Patricia said, smiling coldly. That night, Patricia called a man named Mr. Seiko. He was known for dealing with poor people, helping them find small jobs or shelters. "I need a young man," Patricia said. "No family, no money, no background. Just dirty, hopeless, and desperate." Mr. Seiko laughed. "What for?" Patricia replied. "I want him to marry my stepdaughter. She's pregnant. I want her tied to a man so poor, so useless. She'll regret her whole life." Mr. Seiko agreed. "I know someone." The next day, Patricia went out to meet him. They walked through the street. Dirty roads, bad smells, old houses. Then they saw him, a man sitting by a wall. His clothes were torn. His hair was rough. He looked just like what Patricia wanted. "This is Daniel," Mr. Seiko said. "He's quiet, obeys orders, needs food and a bed. He'll do it." Patricia looked at him. "Will you marry a girl?" Daniel looked confused. "Why?" "Because I said so. You'll live in my house. You'll eat. I'll give you money. But you must marry her and make her suffer. Do you agree?" Daniel nodded slowly. "Yes." Patricia smiled. Back at home, she called Ella into her room. "You're getting married," she said. Ella's heart dropped. "To who?" "To someone like you," Patricia said. "A homeless boy. Since you love street people so much." Ella stepped back. "No, I won't do it." Patricia stood up and slapped her hard. "You don't have a choice. You live in my house. You do what I say." "I love someone else," Ella cried. "He's the father of my baby." "I don't care," Patricia shouted. "He's gone. You'll marry Daniel. You'll wear an old dress. No party. No guests. Just papers. Then you'll be his problem." Ella fell to her knees. "Please, please don't do this." Patricia looked at her coldly. "This is what you deserve." Ella cried all night, her hands on her belly. "I don't want this," she whispered. "Please, God, help me." The next day, Patricia brought Daniel into the house. Ella looked at him. He smelled bad. He didn't speak. He just stared at the floor. Patricia smiled proudly. "This is your husband-to-be," she said. Ella said nothing. Inside her heart, she was breaking. Patricia called the lawyer. "Prepare marriage papers. We'll do a quiet wedding in 2 days. No noise." Everything moved fast. Patricia took one of her old dresses and threw it at Ella. "Wear this. It's your wedding dress now." Ella looked at the dress. It was faded and torn. She held it close and cried. She thought about Joseph. Where was he now? Did he still think about her? Would he ever forgive her for being forced to marry another man? On the wedding day, Patricia woke her up early. "Wash the toilets before you dress, and don't be late," she said. Ella cleaned the house with tears in her eyes. Then she dressed. No makeup, no shoes. Just a simple broken dress on a broken girl. The lawyer came. Patricia smiled like a queen. Daniel stood at the table, quiet. Ella came forward slowly. "Sign," Patricia ordered. Ella took the pen. Her hands shook. She looked up at Daniel again and stopped. There was something in his eyes, something she had seen before. Her heart skipped. But Patricia was watching, so she looked down again. She signed the paper. The man signed too. Patricia clapped once. Good. Now go, both of you. You'll live in the small back room. Don't make noise. Ella walked away, tears falling again. She had just become a wife, not out of love, but out of punishment. And yet, something about this man felt familiar. But she didn't know yet that this homeless man wasn't who he said he was. He was someone else. Someone she already knew. Someone who had come back to save her. After the wedding, Patricia gave them one bag of clothes, a torn mat, and a small black pot. Leave my house, she said. Go and live like the poor couple you are. She pointed across the street to an old, uncompleted building. The walls had no paint. The windows had no glass. The roof was half covered. Dogs used to sleep there. Now, it would be their home. Ella looked at it with fear. We can't live there. You have no choice, Patricia said, then slammed the gate. Ella and the man Daniel, as she still knew him, walked across the street. She was slow. Her feet were swollen. The baby in her stomach kicked with every step. When they reached the building, it was worse than she thought. The floor was dust and broken bricks. There were rats in the corners. The air smelled like wet clothes and smoke. But they found a corner with one dry spot and laid their mat there. That became their new home. There was no bathroom, no kitchen, no electricity. Just four walls, no doors, and a piece of roof that leaked when it rained. That night, it rained. The water came through the ceiling and made everything wet. Ella cried softly. She missed her room. She missed her bed. She missed her mother and father. Now she had nothing but dust and pain. Daniel took off his only shirt and used it to block the hole above her head. Sleep, he said. You need rest. She didn't speak, but her heart felt something. He was kind, even in silence. The next morning, they woke up hungry. They had no money. Patricia gave them nothing. Ella sat outside, looking at the street, hoping someone would walk by with food. Daniel stood up and walked away. He came back an hour later with a piece of bread and 2 small bananas. I worked at the garage, cleaned for 1 hour, he said. Ella looked at the food. You worked for this? He nodded. She took the bread, broke it in half, and gave him the bigger piece. You're the one who worked. You need more. He shook his head. You're the one carrying a baby. They smiled at each other for the first time. This became their life. Every morning, Daniel left to find small work sweeping, carrying loads, cleaning shops. In the afternoon, he came back with little food, a cup of gari, a few spoons of rice. Sometimes, just bread. They ate together. Always small food, always shared. Ella sat in the dust every day, watching the sky. Her belly grew bigger, her legs hurt, but she stayed quiet. She didn't want to be a burden. Sometimes, when Daniel found nothing to eat, they drank water and slept hungry. One night, she woke up shaking. Her body was cold. Her head was hot. Daniel used a rag to wipe her sweat. He placed her head on his lap and hummed softly. You'll be okay, he whispered. I promise. Ella looked into his face. Something about him still felt familiar. But she was too weak to think. The neighbors started noticing them. Some gave them old clothes. One woman gave them boiled yam. Another gave soap and a bucket. God will help you, they said. Ella said thank you every time, even when it wasn't enough. But one thing never changed. Daniel always gave her the best part of every meal. He never shouted. He never complained. One evening, she asked him, Why are you so kind to me? He looked away and said, Because someone should be. The wind blew softly. She held her belly. I'm scared, she said. He replied, I know, but you're not alone. That night, they didn't sleep much. The baby was kicking hard. Ella groaned in pain. Daniel held her hand. Do you want me to call someone? No, she said. Just stay close. The next morning, he went out again. This time, he came back with warm rice and beans. "Someone gave me extra today," he said. "We'll eat well tonight." She smiled. "Thank you." They sat on the floor, legs crossed, eating from one plate. One bite for her, one bite for him. Slowly, gently. They had nothing. But somehow, they had each other. And that made it easier to survive. It started with a pair of slippers. Ella woke up one morning and saw them at the edge of the mat. Soft, new, and pink, her favorite color. She looked at Daniel, who was folding his shirt. "Where did these come from?" she asked. "I bought them," he said simply. She picked them up. They were clean and soft. Not from the market. Not second-hand. These were new. "With what money?" "I worked." She wanted to ask more, but he looked tired. She let it go. A few days later, she saw a bag of rice beside the mat. A big bag. Not just one meal enough for weeks. "Who gave us this?" she asked. He didn't answer at first. Then he said, "Someone owed me. They paid." Ella nodded slowly. She was surprised, but also happy. They finally had enough to eat. After that, small things started showing up. Soap that smelled sweet, a clean towel, a tin of milk, a warm blanket. One day, she found a new plastic chair. "So you don't sit on the floor anymore," Daniel said. Each gift made her heart warm, but also confused. How was he getting these things? One morning, he came back with a box. Inside was a soft yellow dress. "It's for you," he said. Ella opened the box slowly. The dress was beautiful. It looked like something rich people wore. She touched it, then looked up at him. "This is too much." He shook his head. "You deserve more." "Are you hiding something from me?" He smiled a little. "Not hiding, just waiting." "Waiting for what?" "For the right time." She stared at him. Something about the way he spoke, the way he moved, even the way he looked at Harriet felt different now. One day, he didn't go out to work. She asked why. He said, "I don't need to work today, but we need food." He walked out and came back with fried rice and chicken in takeaway packs. It smelled better than anything she had smelled in months. "Where did this come from?" she asked. He looked at her and said, "Does it matter?" She didn't answer, but in her heart, it mattered. One evening, she followed him when he left the building. He walked far, not to the usual dirty streets, but to a clean area. She stopped when she saw him enter a compound through the back gate. He came out 15 minutes later, carrying bags of food and water. She ran back before he saw her. That night, she didn't eat much. "Are you stealing these things?" she asked. He looked hurt. "No, I would never." "Then tell me who you really are." He sat down beside her, quiet, calm. "I'll tell you soon," he said. "But not yet. Just trust me." She didn't understand, but she nodded. Another week passed. He brought her a phone. "It's yours," he said, "so you can call for help if anything happens." Her hands shook. It was brand new. "You can't be poor," she said. "Poor people don't buy phones like this." He smiled again. "Just wait. You'll know everything." That night, Ella sat under the moonlight, holding the phone, the dress, the slippers, and the food in her belly. She looked at the man sleeping beside her on the floor. The same man who once had nothing. The same man who now gave her everything. She didn't know his real name. She didn't know his story. But one thing was clear. He was not who he said he was. And soon, the truth would come out. One morning, Daniel came back to the building early. He was smiling. He had a clean shirt on. His hair was combed. Ella looked at him, confused. "Where are you going?" she asked. "I want you to come with me," he said. "Where?" "To visit a friend in town. Someone I trust." Ella looked down at her old dress. "I don't have clothes for visiting." He gave her a small box. "Wear this." She opened it. It was a simple but beautiful gown. Not too loud, but soft and clean. Ella's heart skipped. "Why are you doing all this?" He just smiled. "You'll see." Ella dressed. She brushed her hair. She didn't have makeup, but her face glowed from inside. The baby in her belly kicked softly. They left the building and walked to the road. A black car was waiting. Ella stopped. "Who sent this?" "I did," he said. "It's our ride." She got in slowly. The car smelled nice. The seats were soft. It felt like a dream. She looked at Daniel. "Are you sure we're going to see a friend?" He nodded. The car drove through the city. Big houses, clean streets, expensive shops. Ella had not been in these places for a long time. She held her belly tightly. Finally, the car turned into a big compound. The gate opened without anyone asking questions. The building was white, tall, beautiful, flowers everywhere, guards at the gate. Ella looked around. "Where are we?" Daniel stepped out of the car and walked to her side. He opened the door for her. "We're here." She stepped out slowly. Her heart was beating fast. The front door opened. A woman stepped out. Tall, elegant, with short hair and gold earrings. Behind her was a man in a suit and two young adults. "Joseph!" the woman shouted. Ella froze. "Joseph?" she whispered. The man beside her smiled. "That's my real name." The woman ran forward and hugged him. "My son, where have you been?" Ella couldn't speak. The man in the suit came next. "We looked everywhere for you." "I'm sorry," Joseph said. "I had to disappear for a while." The young girl ran and hugged him too. "Big bro, you scared us." Joseph held them all for a moment, then turned to Ella. "This is Ella," he said. "My wife. The woman who stayed with me when I had nothing. And that," he said, pointing to her stomach, "is our baby." The whole place went quiet. Ella felt like the ground was shaking. The rich woman stepped forward. "Your wife?" "Yes," Joseph said. He turned to Ella. "My name is Joseph Dyke. I'm not poor. I'm the son of Chief Dyke. I own companies, land, and cars. But I had to hide to find someone real. Someone who would love me without my money." Tears filled Ella's eyes. "You lied to me," she said, her voice shaking. "I didn't lie," he said softly. "I just waited. I had to know if you loved me from a no for what I have." She didn't know whether to cry or smile. "And you chose me?" "I always chose you." The mother stepped forward. "Ella, you are welcome. Any woman who stood with my son in pain is a queen in this house." Ella's legs felt weak. Joseph held her hand tightly. "You're not going back to that building," he said. "This is your home now." That evening, they had a small dinner. Ella sat at a big table, eating real food. She drank juice. She laughed. She cried again. She had nothing once. Now she had everything. And it all started with a man by the gate, who turned out to be a king in disguise. That night, after dinner, Joseph and Ella sat outside the big house. The moon was bright, the wind was soft, the flowers in the garden moved like they were dancing. Ella was quiet. Joseph looked at her. He knew it was time to tell her everything. "I need to talk to you," he said. She nodded. "I'm listening." He took a deep breath. "I didn't just appear in your life by chance." "What do you mean?" "I knew you before the street, before the marriage, before everything." Ella looked confused. "How?" "I used to see you a long time ago. I was driving by your street. I saw you walking. You were carrying books. You looked so quiet, so strong. I don't know what it was, but my heart stopped." Ella blinked. "I started driving past your house on purpose," he said, "just to see you. I never came close. I didn't want to scare you. I just watched." "You had a crush on me?" she asked. Joseph smiled. "Yes, a big one, but I didn't know how to talk to you. You were going through so much. Your father died. Your stepmother treated you badly. I didn't want to add to your pain. So you followed me?" she asked, surprised. "Not in a bad way," he said. "I just cared, and I didn't know how to say it." He looked down. "Then I heard from a friend that Patricia was trying to marry you off to someone poor, someone hopeless. I was angry. I wanted to stop it. But then I thought of something." Ella leaned in. Her heart beat faster. "I thought, what if I let her choose me? What if I pretend to be poor like the man she wants and see if you would still marry me?" Ella gasped. "You let her choose you on purpose?" "Yes," Joseph said. I made sure she found me. I let her believe I was a street boy. I said yes to the wedding because I wanted to be close to you. I knew it was risky. But I needed to know, would you stay with me if I had nothing? Ella's eyes filled with tears. You let me suffer in that building, she said softly. I was there too, he said. I slept on the same floor. I ate the same food. I carried water. I watched you cry. And I cried too. I wanted to help you so many times, but I was scared it would break the test. She stood up, tears on her face. So it was all a test? No, he said. It was love. I didn't want to trap you. I wanted you to see my heart. The real me. The one without money, cars, or a big name. Ella turned away. I felt so alone, she said. And now you say it was all planned? Joseph walked to her slowly. I loved you from the start, he said. Even before you knew my name. But I needed to be sure. I needed to know that your love was real. And now I know. She looked at him again. I don't know how to feel, she whispered. He held her hands. Feel this. I would live in the street again if that's what it takes to be with you. I'm not sorry I came close. I'm only sorry it took me this long to tell you. Ella touched her stomach. And the baby? She will grow up knowing her father loved her mother before she even said hello. Ella smiled a little. She? Joseph nodded. I hope so. They sat back down. She rested her head on his shoulder. I hated you for a while, she said. I know. But now, I think I love you even more. He looked at her face, and in the moonlight he whispered, Thank you for choosing me, even when you thought I had nothing. Ella's life had changed. She now woke up in a big room with white walls, clean sheets, and soft pillows. There was air conditioning. Her bathroom had hot water. Her closet was full of clean, beautiful clothes. She no longer wore old rags. She wore gowns that touched her skin like silk. She no longer walked with pain. Now, she walked with peace. She ate good food. Rice, chicken, fruits, juice, anything she wanted. There was always someone ready to cook for her. She didn't have to beg anymore. Her baby bump had grown. The doctor came every week to check on her. Her cheeks were full again. Her eyes were bright. She smiled more. She laughed. She slept well at night, with no fear of shouting, slaps, or insults. She looked in the mirror one day and whispered, Is this really me? Joseph treated her like gold. He helped her sit, brought her food, read to her at night. He was always there. And now, she loved him deeply. They were planning a small celebration before the baby came. A baby shower with cake, music, and joy. Ella had never felt more alive. One sunny afternoon, Ella and Joseph went to the shopping mall. She wore a soft yellow dress and sandals. Her hair was packed neatly. People looked at her with respect. Then she saw her, Patricia, standing by the side of the road, dirty, tired, and shocked. Their eyes met. Patricia froze. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Ella held Joseph's hand tighter and looked away. They entered the car and left. Patricia couldn't believe it. Ella was rich. Ella was glowing. Ella was married to the homeless man she had mocked. She stood by the road and cried. 3 days later, Patricia came to the gate of the mansion. She wore an old wrapper and slippers. Her face was dry. Her eyes were swollen. She begged the security, Please, I just want to say sorry. Please let me in. They called the house. Joseph asked Ella, Do you want to see her? Ella was quiet for a long time. Then she said, Yes. Let her in. Patricia entered the compound, holding her hands together. She walked slowly, shaking. When she saw Ella, she fell to the ground. My daughter, she cried. Please forgive me. Ella stood still. I'm sorry, Patricia said again. I was wicked. I was jealous. I was wrong. Please, forgive me. Tears ran down Ella's face. You beat me, she said. You starved me. You made me marry a man you thought was worthless. I know, Patricia cried. I thought I was teaching you a lesson. But now I see I was the fool. You are blessed. I treated you like nothing, but you are everything." Ella looked at Joseph. He stood beside her, calm but quiet. "I didn't do this to show off," Ella said. "God lifted me, but not because I wanted revenge. I just wanted peace." Patricia reached out. "Please, even if you don't love me, forgive me." Ella walked to her. She knelt beside her stepmother. "I forgive you," she said, "but I will never forget." Patricia cried louder. "You can't live here," Ella said, "but I will help you, not because you deserve it, but because I'm not like you." Patricia covered her face in shame. Ella stood up, her head held high. She had lost everything once, but now she had more than she ever dreamed. And the woman who tried to destroy her was now begging for crumbs at her feet. The pain started early in the morning. Ella woke up with a sharp cramp in her stomach. At first, she thought it was just the baby kicking, but the pain came again, then stronger. She sat up and held her belly. Her heart beat fast. "Joseph," she called out. He rushed in. "What is it?" "I think it's time." Joseph didn't panic. He picked up the hospital bag, helped her dress, and called the driver. He held her hand the whole time. "You'll be okay," he said. "I'm right here." At the hospital, nurses ran to her. They checked her quickly. "She's in labor," the doctor said. "It's coming fast." Ella was scared. The pain was heavy. Sweat ran down her face. Her legs shook. Joseph stayed by her side. He wiped her head. He held her hand. He didn't move. "You're strong," he said softly. "You've made it this far. Just a little more." She screamed. The pain was too much. She cried. But he never let go. "You're not alone," he kept saying. "I'm here." Hours passed. Then the doctor shouted, "I can see the head. Push." Ella pushed with all her strength. One more time. Then again. And then a cry filled the room. A soft, loud, beautiful cry. "It's a girl," the nurse said. "She's healthy." Tears filled Ella's eyes. She was weak, tired, but smiling. Joseph stood still. The nurse brought him the baby. He looked at the tiny face, small eyes, little hands, soft skin. She was not his blood, but she was his daughter. He carried her gently. "She's beautiful," he said. Ella looked at him. "You still want her?" Joseph nodded. "I've wanted her from the moment I chose you." He walked to Ella's side. "She may not be mine by blood," he said, "but in my heart, she's mine forever." Ella cried again. "You're not just my husband," she said. "You're the best man I've ever known." They named her Grace because she came after pain, after loss, after darkness. Joseph never left the hospital. He changed diapers, fed the baby, held her at night when she cried. Everyone at the hospital talked about him. "That man," a nurse said, "he's not just rich, he's rare." They took Grace home after 3 days. The house was decorated with balloons and ribbons. Staff clapped when they arrived. Ella sat in her room, holding the baby. She looked around. She remembered where she started. A dusty room. No food. No hope. Now she had a home, a family, and a husband who stayed. Joseph walked in and kissed her forehead. "Thank you," he said. "For what?" "For being brave. For not giving up. For letting me love you." Ella looked at Grace. "She saved me," she whispered. Joseph replied, "No, we saved each other." Subscribe for Part 2. More dramas ahead.